All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Spring Legion Podcast. My name is Farrior, joining you by longtime partner Austin Sills again today. Got a good one ahead of us. Going to be talking about one of the truths in life and turkey hunting, especially.
One of the things I'm really good at.
Yeah, we've got a connoisseur, so to speak, here with us of those sureties, much like death and taxes. A third would be missing turkeys.
Yeah.
So
I had a real successful year this year.
Well, Sills happens to be a pro at missing turkeys,
Yeah.
and we give him a bunch of crap for it. But lo and behold, I missed a couple this year too, and it's one of those things that if you haven't missed a turkey, you ain't hunted enough, and that's a true statement right there. And we've all done it. And today we're going to talk about some of the things we might have learned along the way when it comes to missing turkeys that we could have avoided or have learned to adjust in order to fix it, and something that we've all had to learn the hard way most times, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's one of the things that if we can provide a little bit of help to somebody who also struggles with whiffing on them, so be it. I hope we do. But if you're like us, you're going to do it again, kind of regardless.
Oh, if you hunt them, you're going to, there's no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many factors go into it, so much is going on, so many things you can change in hindsight, but there's only so much of all of it.
Get twisted in knots, trying to, turkeys coming behind. There's all kind of factors that go into missing.
Most unpredictable animals on the planet, if you're asking me. But before we get into it, though, I did want to tell y'all we appreciate y'all tuning in, and appreciate all the downloads and all the shares and stuff y'all have done for the podcast here recently as we're kind of re-kicking it back off. But absolutely, we definitely appreciate it, and we definitely want to remind y'all that this is a new venture for us, the VidCast, kind of going on the YouTube channel. It's kind of a video version of our podcast. We're trying to think of ways to incorporate some of these instances, some of these hunts that we've been talking about, and putting them into kind of incorporating them into this video cast part rather than making an entire, a hunt episode of them. Some of the stuff is just going to kind of, hit the parts we're talking about, and then some of these videos are we've kind of created a sub collection of them, a sub series called the High Note series. That's on the YouTube of some of the hunts that might have previously been on there, but we made a condensed version for today's attention span in 2024 for
That's weird.
Yeah, weird saying 24, but yep, it's just hitting high notes, hitting the parts that something happened, no dead periods in between, and then you got folks who do like to see the dead periods in between. How long did y'all really take till y'all called again? Stuff like that. We got something for you there. And the ones that we originally uploaded, the day after we hunted it without even looking at the film. So we've got a lot on the YouTube channel. If that's something, up your alley, you like watching stuff, I advise y'all to check it out. Let us know what you think. Subscription to the channel would not hurt. We definitely appreciate that, and kind of helping us spread the word, because it is a new venture. It's not necessarily our cup of tea. We didn't cut our teeth on the video side, so to speak, but heck, neither did we on the podcast side. But here we are. Don't assume that means we're good at podcasting, because Lord knows we got some work to do on that side as well. But no, I wanted to get into something else, kind of unrelated to anything we're going to talk about today, but it's something that is a really cool opportunity for folks that we're honored to be a part of with Turkeys for Tomorrow. It's going to be it's a hunt raffle, pretty much. It's kind of Sills got a few more details he's going to kind of fill us in on, but it's something that I'm looking forward to personally, and I know all three of us, Chase not being here today, I know he is too, but I'm looking forward to kind of how this is going to play out.
Yeah, you just to enter the raffle, you go to turkeysfortomorrow.org.
And this is a raffle to hunt with us.
Right, it's a raffle to hunt with me, Hunter, and Chase. Our particular hunt, I think there's 5 on there.
And something around there.
Our particular hunt will be I guess you'd call it Port Gibson would be the closest
Yeah.
city. It's
South Mississippi.
yeah, it's right there on the. It's really west
Yeah.
south. Central west,
Central Southwest.
right south of Vicksburg.
Yeah,
Between Vicksburg and Port Gibson, but it's going to be on the kind of right there with the Mississippi River, Big Black meat.
Good hunt land.
Real good hunting land. A lot of hills.
Yeah.
A lot of turkeys.
But yep.
But so to enter that, you go to turkeysfortomorrow.org, and at the very top of their page it says 2024 hunt raffle. Click on there, and I think it gives you 4 different options of 1 ticket for this, 2, and the more you buy, obviously the cheaper they are. But it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be it's a 2-day hunt. You'll arrive the evening, hunt the following 2 days, and go 1 turkey. But if we don't get it done the first day, we do got a second day. So it's going to be a fun opportunity. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time regardless. And I want to say last time we talked to Pete, he said that the drawing ends, or the application period ends January 31st.
That's right.
So you got until January 31st to go to TFT's website, Turkeys for Tomorrow's website. I think it's pretty cut and dry on how you find the place to get to apply. It's probably plastered everywhere.
As soon as you pull it up, it's in bright green.
Yeah.
It says 2024 hunt raffle.
And there's some other hunts you can apply for. The hunting public guys are an option. Close proximity and stuff. There's a couple of Terry Rhymes on there. Kind of all over the country too. So again, we're honored to be considered for that. I think Pete keeps calling it the celebrity hunts. I'm like, buddy,
yeah,
we're far from that. But we will always take a chance to meet a fellow turkey hunter any chance we get, and especially something that kind of backs an organization that is geared around, the benefit of the wild turkey, which is TFT. And so looking forward to that. I want to remind y'all, head over there and check it out. Look into it. I think the hunt is early April, at least.
Yeah, I think it's the 3rd and 4th. But and also, it covers everything. We'll share camp together. I'm excited about that. I mean, the hunting obviously is that, but it's gonna be fun just to share camp and stories with somebody we've never hunted with,
hang
never
out
met.
with, and might even make a podcast out of it.
Yeah,
gonna have plenty of opportunity too, and hopefully we got a turkey hanging behind us on one of them.
Yep.
But yep, looking forward to that. Encourage y'all to go check it out at TFT's website, and I can't think of many more updates. I'm trying to time it right, but yeah. So. You ready? Are you prepared to talk about today's?
If there's anything I'm prepared to talk about, this is it.
I'm going to be the question asker on this one, because you got the answers apparently.
I do.
I'm just kidding. No.
I had them. Now, to preface this whole topic we're going to hit, it has been fixed for the most part.
For the time being.
But like you said, you hunt them long enough, you're going to miss more.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things that like we mentioned, if you hadn't missed a turkey yet, you ain't hunted turkeys long enough, because it's coming, and it usually comes whenever you're at your highest. If I had to think, sometimes it comes more than once. Even at your and then it makes this round back when you're at your lowest, and you definitely don't need to miss one. That's when you're gonna miss one, and it's gonna be a chip shot layup. But I'll start it off. There was an instance this year, particularly in. I think I was out west, might have been Nebraska or something like that. But it was the first turkey I'd missed in a long time. And y'all know we give Sills a bunch of crap on it, but it ain't like I ain't never missed one. I missed a good old handful, a hefty handful of turkeys before. But I had a little streak going without missing one. And so I missed this one, and it was disheartening, to say the least. But in short, I want to say I'm bad about dropping my vest, and with this whole video,
everything else.
and everything else. But the first to go is using my vest, and along with everything in it, except for my mouth call and gun. And sometimes I wind up in another county before I head back to go find everything that's left a breadcrumb trail of all the stuff that I've used once and put down, and then had to move up a tree, and then had to move left 10 trees, and I need one of them Apple keychain things. What are they called?
Air tags.
An air tag on literally everything. But the first to go is usually my vest, and in this instance particularly, if I would not have dropped my vest by means of staying in my vest, I'd probably kill this turkey. But I dropped my vest, and lo and behold, the GoPro attached to my vest kept running. And I moved over, and the GoPro actually got footage of the turkey coming up over this knoll, looking at me, and then me whiffing the shot on him. So it was humbling to rewatch because knowing the whole time if I'd have sat here, I'd have been all right. But kind of going into that point, I'd struck this turkey up, and then it was just a long beard, and he had about 4 hens with him. Saw it strutting. I think I saw it before I heard it. I did see it before I heard it, and then so I kind of head back a little ways, not long, and it kind of set up perfect. The direction they were headed was going to kind of split a knoll on my side, and then there's another knoll on this other side, and there's not many trees, and there is trees on the far knoll. I know there's a lot of, I don't know what kind of trees they are, but I want to say live oaks. There's a live oaks up there. They look like when I see a really dried out tree, I assume it's a live oak and don't really think much after that. But wide open underneath, textbook little hangout spot for midday. And this is 11 o'clock probably, I'd say. It's midday-ish. So they are where they want to be for the next few hours, if I had to guess. They're kind of working this way up. I drop back, don't make a sound, come back around, get at the foot of this knoll on the far side of the knoll that would separate me from these birds, assuming they're going to go right in the middle and then head out to this little shade spot. So I get there, and I set up shop without calling, anything like that. Sit down on the first tree I see, guns facing right in the middle of this knoll, it begins right in front of me and goes up pretty steep. I'd say about 25 yards to the top. It's just a little bubble of ground, and pretty symmetrical as far as I can tell. It's not like a ridge; it's just a bubble of ground. And so the whole time I know I'm keeping that between me and these birds. And when I sit down, I hadn't seen them since I first saw them. Hadn't heard them, hadn't done nothing. I'm assuming they are where they are, or where I expected them to be. I call a couple times, he gobbles, and I can tell they are. So they headed up the near end of the knoll on the other side. Perfect. So I call a couple times. This gobbler answers. I don't really jump to conclusions or anything trying to move. I just got here. I don't know what his mood is. Don't know what his temperature is. Don't know what he's really doing with these hens. If he's already bred them. If he's just hanging out. If he's hoping another one comes around. Let it rest a minute or two. Call again. He answers again. Hadn't moved. Call again. He has moved, or the whole flock is moving, I'm assuming. And they're moving to the right. So they're moving to the right. I'm still sitting here. And so now I'm projecting them and kind of my mental visual of these two knolls right here. They're around the low spot again where I originally saw them. So I kind of take a chance and move to the left. Well, I hop out of my vest and scoot over. I'm talking 30 yards maybe. In respect to the peak of this knoll in front of me, I move 0. It's just around, I just move this way, still 25 yards from the top, just at a different angle. But now I've opened the opportunity where if he comes to the bottom of it, why in the world? I thought a turkey was going to come to the bottom of a hill. I don't know. If I was a turkey, I'd come to the top and look down just exactly like he did. But I was hoping I could get there and make it seem like I'm moving towards where they came from. So he would take the same path that he came from, yep. Which is, I'm not going to say that's a great rule of thumb, but I've used it, and I'd give it 60-40. It's higher than 50% chance that they're more comfortable walking a route that they've already taken, that they already know is safe, that they already know that the landmarks and stuff where this turkey could be headed to. I'd take my chances on that, but just as much, if not more, I would take a chance on a turkey coming high than he would coming low. If not, I'd say definitely more than 60-40, 70-30 maybe. Nothing's 100% except for me dropping my vest. It seems, but drop my vest. So this little GoPro's rolling the whole time. You can't see nothing. You can hear me calling, hear it gobble a couple times, and then I start hearing him drumming, and he's on that knoll closest to me. He's just on the other side, so I can't see him. I don't really know where at, but at that time, of course, in his drumming, I knew he was getting closer. I could hear his drumming better and better. He gobbles one good time. I know he's headed to me. You know,
Right.
the only question is at this point which route he's taking to get to me. I'm about to look eye to eye with him at some point in the next minute and a half tops. Well, I hear his drumming again. And I ain't calling or nothing. I hear it again, and he's moving left. So he's coming around that bottom. He's coming around halfway up, I would think. Coming around, he's gonna come up this left side, peek over. Because of me moving, I should have a much clearer shot of him. He's not going to do this whole periscope right over the top, and I'm not going to be able to see him. I know this is a long beard unless another one sneaks in, but I'm pretty confident. So I'm pretty fixed on him coming left because now I hoped he would. I called hoping to influence him to come left. Now his drumming's coming left, so I think so. I'm pretty locked in on this left hand side of this little knoll in front of me, and then I don't think he gobbles before he crests it, but I'm pretty in this. So keep in mind I'm right-handed. So now the real peak of the actual knoll is to my right. Is about my 2 o'clock. My 12 o'clock is at the spot where I think he's coming out. My swinging motion, where if he were to come out to the left, the more natural swinging motion is a 0% chance he's coming because I can see the whole thing. He can't get there without crossing where my gun's pointed. So I've eliminated that completely. I don't advise that. If I go back, I'd sit positioned right, pointed back more right where it'd be more natural motion shooting at the very tip top and to the right side. I mean, it's wide open in front of me. There ain't nothing between air and opportunity between me and wherever this turkey's coming out at. He can't come up to the top. He can't come to the right. He can't come to the left without me seeing him and without it being within 30 yards, pretty much. Luckily for him, I'd really put all my chips on him coming left. So I'm pretty fixed on it, and then I see the tip of his tail fan, and it's at the very tip top. It's much farther right than I expected. How in the world he drummed to this left-hand side, and now he's at the right-hand side, I don't know, but turkeys do that voodoo stuff, and Houdini apparently, and come to, hindsight, it's very easy to understand that my trail of hearing, I guess, is coming from this little hollow. And wherever he can drum on the other side, it's going to come around and hit this left ear. So it made me think he was going left, but he wasn't. And no sooner than I saw the tips of his tail fan, and I kind of just, grip my gun to move it, his head pops up. I'm like, uh-oh. Because I'm not in a good spot at that point. So there's not much I can do. I assume he sees me. And looking back, I know he didn't because there's a bank behind me. So I'm, for some reason, kind of forget that, I guess. So as he's looking down, there's nothing but, just brushy creek bottom looking stuff behind me. But in my mind, I'm also on a big knoll, and he can see me, like a silhouette, like I can see him. I get a little jumpy. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, I don't want to just swing and shoot because I can just see about waddles up right now. And I can still see his tail fan's still out in strut. So it's not like he's folded, popped his wings up and kind of getting ready to get out of dodge. He lets it back down a little bit, goes into half strut. I kind of make a little bit of a move. You don't see it. So he never really goes back into full strut, but he takes about 3 more steps up, and I can see, from his belly up at that point. I still ain't faced directly at him yet, though. And like an idiot, I just I start pivoting real fast. He never even putts. He doesn't do anything, but in my mind, I'm like, ain't no way I'm getting out of this without him. I'm ready to shoot him, turning, doing something. So I just kind of ease up, and then one fluid motion, as soon as it gets on him, I pull the trigger, and I see him do that, and that's it. I can't see, the first step he takes, I can't see. And so I knew.
What'd you do?
I guess go
ahead and say it.
I guess I didn't hit him.
You missed him.
Yeah, I missed him. So I checked everywhere around there just to be sure. And then pretty sick in my stomach. Because, at 25 yards, the turkey, his head, his waddle started about right there. It was plenty of opportunity for a pellet to hit him. and and it was just salt in the wound to go back and look at the GoPro footage of him coming, and the way he came up where I was sitting originally, he would have never thought twice about me sitting there. He was fixed, kind of where I'd last called, and several steps he took, I could have shot without any chance of interference, without him having a periscope or anything like that. So my gut let me down on that one, and then it's one of those things that I think is the most common reason of missing is, well, not having your cheek on your gun. And I think more turkeys are absolutely missed by not having your cheek fully down on your gun. And usually it's in moments when stuff starts rattling, when things go a little haywire, or they ain't got to go to mass chaos. They just got to, if he takes a right instead of a left, or he comes around this side of the tree instead of the side you're expecting, you start watching him, or it's wide open and you're watching him the whole way. And that's another one. I know I've been with you before, and there's the first thing in my mind, before you shoot is, man, I hope he's not watching this turkey, because I'm kind of caught up in it. And if he's caught up in it, I know his head's kind of risen up, and that's just natural instincts. I mean, it's hard not to watch something like that, with both eyes, coming straight in at you. You start thinking of, where is 30 yards, where's 35 yards, however your kind of personal limit is on shooting. You start picking out landmarks, stuff like that. You're about to get a shot at this turkey, and the jitters just, I mean, they overwhelm you, and you're sitting there watching it. And if you've ever done this, it makes a lot more sense. If you haven't, I encourage you to, and it will, really tie all these ends together. Grab your shotgun, put your cheekbone, not your cheek, put your cheekbone right here on the stock of your gun, press down hard, look down your barrel where you can't see none of your barrel but just your bead, if you're shooting just a bead. Put it on a dot on the wall or something. Make sure it's unloaded. Put it on a dot on the wall. Now take your cheek off of that gun and see where it's pointed at. It's going to be a lot lower. Yep. So vice versa. If you just kind of put it on your shoulder and say, I'm going to put it on, that nail over there. All right, I'm pretty sure it's on that nail. Rest your cheek real hard on there, and you're aiming about that high. Mm-hmm. It's just, you get caught up in watching them, and a lot of times your cheek will kind of rise back up without you knowing it. It'll start there, but that 50 yards he's got to walk. I mean, your natural instincts start peeking up, looking at it. If he coming around a tree, you'll take your head off to make sure, or readjust and not put it back down on there. And I think that's kind of what happened is in my swing of motion, my eyes never got off of him. I just moved my gun like this and didn't think, hey, put your gun down. Put your cheek down on your gun.
That's what happened to me real bad. I don't remember what year it was, but the first opening morning that we had a chance to double, and then we went on that little streak.
Yeah.
That first year, remember those turkeys came in and how we were sitting. I could see them long before you. Yeah. You were sitting to my right.
Right.
There was a big bank. So I watched them coming around. I was trying to, make sure they were long beards, just trying to see everything, and I missed. And these turkeys were 20 yards.
Oh, yeah. They were on us.
And
they came from my right to left, right?
Right, yeah. And I could see them for a while. I mean, I obviously couldn't shoot them for a while because the thick stuff, but I was watching them. And that turkey game, I missed. I think I missed with you again that next weekend. Yeah, we had the turkeys come around.
They came behind us.
Yep, came from the right, and we let them get up, and I kind of spun and missed. And then the very next day of the same season, I mean, all this happened within a week.
Yeah.
Me and Mason were hunting, and I missed a turkey at like 30 yards. Mm-hmm. And I was in a bind.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
that ain't how you want to start a season. That was the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that was like the first week. I was in bad shape, and I went home, and I got my 20, box of 25 just dove loads. Mm-hmm. And I leaned back on my truck tire, put my knee up like I was turkey hunting, and I think I had my mouth call in, but to where I could sit there like I was turkey hunting. I had a target out there at 30 yards, and I would call, and I would shoot. like I was
Mm-hmm.
hunting a turkey, and I was still missing. And I finally, that's what I had to do. My cheek was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So after I figured it out, probably took me 2 or 3 shots, and I figured out what I was doing. I shot that whole box of dove shells at a dot, just to try to muscle memorize
Mm-hmm.
to make sure to keep your cheek down. But yeah, that was a bad first week of turkey season. Then once I did that, I was fine. I still miss maybe
Mm-hmm.
one a year, but it wasn't 3 in the first week.
Oh yeah, and that's, I mean,
And
break, breaking down missing 90% of his confidence. Mechanical stuff aside.
right.
Um, you know, um, it's not physiological stuff. Whatever you do with your body aside, not putting your cheek down, not holding it right, not doing this and that. Most of it's just confidence that I'm about to hit what I'm shooting at. If you ever get in your mind, if you got a fraction of your mind thinks I might miss this, you probably about to miss it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's you shoot one, you hit one, everything is reassured. You're gonna get on the roll, like
And
everything starts smoothly running again.
and once I figured that out, the one miss or whatever I'd have a year, a lot of times had to do with the factors that was going into the hunt. It was
Yeah.
a turkey came behind me, and when I figured out my problem keeping my cheek down, but just like you said, when you
Mhm.
turned, I think I turned looking the turkey first and didn't
Yep.
get all the way on my gun. But that happened, and then this year I had a bad one, or this past year I had a bad miss.
Oh
Up
yeah.
there right outside of Starkville.
Forgot about that. I wasn't on that hunt.
No, so me and Jordan had hunted that morning, and he had killed a turkey. Had a guy invite us up, me and Lake and Jordan to hunt.
Yeah.
You were in Georgia, I guess is where you were.
Yeah.
But invited us up to hunt. We got there at like 12, 1 o'clock, and guys like, let's go hunting. So we walked from the camp, walked out back, and it was my turn. Lake hadn't made it up. We didn't know when Lake was going to make it
Yeah.
up. You just when you got Lake coming in a truck by himself, you just go and he'll get there when he gets there.
Can't
So-
relate.
Yeah. So I was shooting. We walked behind this camp, and it was probably, we probably didn't walk 150 yards,
Mm-hmm.
and sat down, and we were just kind of listen to see what would happen. So we sat down. Jordan had a little handy cam, and I yelped, and a turkey started caulking with Jake.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't move and looked up. I think there were 6 or 7 Jakes that came in from a right, like 15 steps, and we let them get on by us. And Jordan had turned the camera around and was taking a selfie video. I don't know what he was
He
doing.
knows what he's doing with the camera now. He didn't know. I mean, all them years at Primos and all
Oh,
this
yeah.
other stuff. He knows how to document a hunt, right? He's taught us a lot.
Oh yeah, but I turned around. I heard him talking. I turned around to see what he was talking to, and he was talking to the camera. And I turned back around. I said, Jordan, I think I hear one draw. And I looked up, and there he was at like 12 steps, a big long beard. So obviously Jordan stuck
Yeah.
the camera in his face. Well, the turkey walks down the old logging road in front of us. When he got open to shoot, he was no more than 20 yards, probably
Yep.
closer. And I clicked the safety off and heard Jordan say, "You better not shoot that turkey. Like the video camera's not facing
Yeah.
it." I was like, "You're taking that's not
Hey.
my fault. You're taking a selfie." And so anyway, we let that turkey walk by, and he walked down that road probably 45 or 50 yards, and now we're in the open
Yeah.
where he's seeing. So I held my gun because I'd picked my gun up to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was holding my gun not on my knee. I was just
Yeah.
holding it. So he walked in, and all this was probably, it may have been 4 or 5 minutes. It felt like 20 or 30
Oh.
minutes. He walked down. We stopped calling. No, he walked down. We called to him, and he was walking off, and he turned around.
Mm-hmm.
When he turned around, I just stopped calling like all together. And he finally meandered his way back on back down there, and you can see in the video when I go to shoot, my arms were so tired, I was shaking. But this past season, I went to a red dot, and I put my red dot, what I thought was right on him. There's no telling how much, like I said, how much I was shaking and moving, but I shot, and you can go back and watch the video. The shot, you can see it perfect right over his back,
Yeah.
didn't touch him. And
It happens, man.
I missed that one. I got the guy invited us up, wanted to have just kind of a video just for memories of the place he was getting ready to sell it, but he wanted just a memory of hunts.
And this is a project kind of separate from Spring Legion, this video part.
Yeah, it is, and it wasn't really. We didn't really go up there to shoot a turkey
Right.
video. He was more so wanting just. We took some camera stuff and flew the drone, but anyway, he wanted just a highlight video of his place he was getting ready to sell.
For folks who don't know, Sills and I are realtors, and
Yeah.
he's a managing broker.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I missed the turkey. The guy was with us. He was super nice. He never fussed or. But he said maybe we'll get one tomorrow morning. So we got up the next morning. I mean, we watched the turkey fly up just from the cabin, and we eased in back around the backside where we thought he was probably gonna go, and set up. And 30 minutes after daylight, turkey came walking up exactly like we thought, and I can hear Jordan back there. I was trying to play like I couldn't hear him because they were letting me shoot to redeem myself. And I could hear Jordan back behind me saying, I have him in the camera, shoot. And I played deaf.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I heard Lake say, I can kill him. And Jordan said, well, somebody kill him. I was like, thank goodness. It don't have to be me. But so Lake ended up killing him. And that was that real pretty turkey that had like almost white wings.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. That joker was unique.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's getting it mounted, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. But it's
like,
one of them, like, when I saw him coming back with the turkey, I was like, you should have shot, you idiot.
Yeah.
But,
hey, and I can't remember who said it. It's some, well-versed turkey. I guess it would be a turkey. It might have been Colonel Tom Kelly. It's someone of that nature mentioned I think I read it and didn't hear it. I read it in a book or something, but in paraphrasing, I ain't gonna quote it, but it's something about, he mentioned like I can't see the squirrel syndrome. And like, remember when you were a kid and you ain't never really shot anything before, and you shot 1,000,000 tin cans, and you go squirrel hunting for the first time with your dad or something, and the first squirrel you actually see sitting there 15 yards in front of you perched on a limb, and he keeps telling you to shoot, and you're like, I can't see him. You can see him fine, but your brain's telling you, you're just nervous, and you're trying to think of every excuse you can think of not to shoot because you just naturally, you don't want to miss.
Right.
You're not worried about hitting it. You just don't want to miss so bad because now
it's
everything's really happening.
It's kind of like playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Yep. And, it's one of them sayings you hear, shooters shoot, killers kill, Most folks who take the chance, who do, have the confidence of that nature. I'm not saying go just shoot them at anywhere from 100 to 10 yards. If you got a shot, pull the trigger. But being confident in, if he comes in an opening in this crowded area, I'm going to kill him. I know I can. I know when I squeeze the trigger, it's about to, And if there's a doubt, don't.
Right.
But don't, set yourself up for failure. Kind of like I set myself up for failure by not setting up correctly, know. And it is contagious. It'll get, it'll snowball real quick after that. And now I've written about it before. I went and I've shot turkeys with probably 2 guns my whole life. I killed a good bit with both, but at the time I'd only shot them with 1 gun. It was brown and gold I got from my dad, and I've killed a lot of turkeys with it. And then one year, it was either that year you were mentioning or another year, very close to it.
It was the very next year.
Yeah, I tried to be real cool and put some kind of wrap on it or something, because right now it's back to its original form, how I got it, with some green leaves painted on it with a spray paint can, which is how my granddad used to paint everything. I don't think he painted this, but he influenced whoever painted it to do it. I guarantee you. You take an oak leaf and it doesn't matter if it's a $1,200 gun. It ain't camo. We're gonna make it camo.
Cover it up.
So I was trying to cover that up. I guess I was trying to look cool. Put one of the bottom line wraps on or something. So I took it apart, cleaned it real good. I'm not good at cleaning guns. And I put it back together, and there's still a couple pieces that I don't know what they're called, but they never went back in the gun. I guess could have been useless, but I didn't. I assumed they were useless because it shot all right. But I got to kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I missed like 3 in the first day or 2 of a season, just kind of like you did, and shots that I was very comfortable in taking, and thought something might be up. And I don't mean to shock anybody, but I've never patterned a shotgun my whole life, ever. I mean, I just never have. I'm not gonna say I never needed to, but I never thought to. When I pick up a shotgun and I put a red, green, black, whatever color shell in there, I assume they all shoot the same, but I know that's not the case. The more seasoned I get in the turkey hunting culture, apparently, but I mean, I take my chances with a gun pointed at something every day. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's going to shoot, it's going to fire lead real fast at its head, and it's probably going to hit it at some point, you know. Um, but we went to Vans and grabbed a gun that afternoon. I said, something's wrong. This last one I know was not me. I mean, I've checked all the boxes. I did everything you can think of, rehearsed the whole scripture my dad has given me for years hunting with him. You know, put your cheek down on your gun, you know, deep breaths, squeeze the trigger, let the gun go off when it wants to. That's what he'd always tell me. And I did that, and it was aimed right where you're supposed to aim, which is where the wattles meet the feathers, not his head, because that increases your chances of shooting over him.
Oh yeah.
But and someone was telling me not long ago, depending on where the gun's made and stuff, some are engineered to shoot higher than lower, and
I'll go into that in a second.
oh god, but some are by aiming at his neck, you shoot him in the head, kind of deal.
Right.
But if you aim at his head, you can probably shoot over him. But no, we went and picked out an 870 at Vans and took it the next morning and shot one. I was like,
Yeah.
a gun works, you know, and I don't know if I've ever shot it at anything but a turkey since.
Well, I don't know that I've ever shot a shotgun that is true of a shot as an 870.
Yeah.
So
I don't know any of this stuff. The true of a shot, I can't. A shotgun is a shotgun to me, and a shell is a shell to me. A choke is a choke to me. It's a turkey choke.
In some of the stuff you read, like these shotguns that are waterfowl guns,
Yeah.
most of them are going to shoot high. I don't know why. Can't tell you why, and I don't know that to be true. That's just a lot of stuff reading on them. But I do know that I bought 2 shotguns last year, or before the 2023 season. Same brand, same model. One was a 20, one was a 12, and I bought the 12 for me, the 20 for my wife. Well, I shot that 12 gauge, and it shot high and left. So I didn't waste any more. I went, and I got on the range in the lead sled, and I shot again, and it was high and left. I was like, that's not right. So I shot the 20 gauge, like I said, same brand, same model, just a 20 gauge, and it was shooting high and left. So I ended up putting a red dot on both of those to where you could pull it back down, but it didn't matter what choke was in it. I mean, I shot it with a turkey choke I had for it. I shot it with the factory chokes that came with it. They were all pulling high and left, and I don't know. You talk about, that's what I'm saying, that I've always said since you bought it, an 870 is the best gun for you because you're not going to pattern it. You're not going to, but that's the truest shooting gun that I hunted with one for years. And it was always a true shooting gun. The misses were me, not having my head down, but those, I think that's why a lot of people are going to optics nowadays. And I would not have shot my gun like that, because I mean, I'll pattern it, if I have time. It's not a bit, I'm not as bad as you, but just because I get a new shotgun don't mean I'm going to immediately go pattern it. And I was talking to a buddy of mine up in North Mississippi, and he's like, man, I bought a gun, put it in there, and it was shooting high and right. And he got me to thinking, I was like, I better go shoot this shotgun. Thank goodness I did. But it was, I ended up and I don't know any other way to fix it.
Yeah.
Other than, like in my situation, just know you got to aim low and right. But that puts you in a bind because
getting a gun
low and right, aiming low and right at 20 yards compared to 40 yards is
completely
hard to
different.
Do, yeah. Right.
Now, if that bead ain't where it's going to be hitting around, at least I'm finding I'm stealing one of Chase's guns or something for a day till I can figure that out. But no, I mean it's and I mean out of the however many turkeys I've killed, I've ran into shell problems once.
Yeah.
And it was this past year, and
saying I've done that.
You
too.
know, I mean, it's just kind of those things like you start adding it up. These ain't shooting great. You know, something is kind of just consistent. Whether it be a miss or something that like only a couple pellets hit it. I'm like, you know, that's the third in a row, and then all of a sudden you get out of that box and you start folding them. You know, so it's kind of like I don't know if there's got to be something to do with, and the shells I shoot are up until the latter part of the season are some that I've had for literally years, like stocked up on in 2017 a case of them. But that's probably why I don't really have to pattern. I haven't changed anything.
Yeah.
You know, I've shot the same gun, choke, and shell for so many years. It's just I know where it's gonna hit until you get to some kind of kink that ain't right. It throws it off, and
that almost feels, to me, that feels worse than just missing because you know it was you.
yeah, that's
Because
gut wrench.
like the Florida experience,
You had it.
you know, on video, I shot a turkey at 26 steps. I shot him, hit the ground.
Yep.
He got back up. I shot him, hit the ground. He got back up, and I shot him a third time, and he hit the ground. I was out of shells. We still hadn't seen him.
Yeah.
But that hurts worse than
because
they're.
And I used to think that didn't happen. I've heard folks say that. I'm like, brother, just tell me you missed. It's okay.
Oh,
But
when he got up, it was almost. It wasn't half comical. It was we were all pissed, but that's the first thing because you were coming in town. I was like, did you got all that on video? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Because you know,
Hunter's not going to believe that I hit that turkey 3 times and not holding him.
I had it. It was that same year I shot one in Georgia and hit the ground. I'm kind of collectively getting my stuff together. Awesome hunt. Roosted above me and hammered. I sat under him thinking he was in a back corner. And I come in and I pick the daggone tree he's in. And I'm waiting, you know, kind of sanding my slate and everything, moving stuff around and, you know, knocking some briars down and nothing. And I sit down and I'm just kind of like twiddling my thumbs, like, man, I got here early for once, you know. And I'd been in the afternoon before and knew, I want to say I watched him fly up. I watched a turkey fly up right here. I didn't watch no one fly up in the tree that I was sitting on, but lo and behold, he went to hammer. I mean, he got 50 times right above me. I'm the tree, not a tree next to my tree, the tree I'm on. He's above me, and he drops down and I shoot and rolls him. I'm like, I'm prepared for this shot because there ain't really anywhere else he's gonna land, so I'm set up. You know, my knee. I don't even think I moved my gun when he shot. Should have, maybe, I don't know, but his feet hit the ground. I sit there and watch because he's still numb in the world, and I'm like, this is awesome. You know, he's just hammering back and forth with another gobbler. And I'm like, all right, I'll shoot him now. Boom, shoot him, falls. Get to trotting a little bit out there, and boom, I'm like, oh. I had my gun with me, but couldn't register quick enough. Hey, chuck shell, do something, shoot back at him, and by the time I even got a chance to put it on my shoulder again, he was gone. But no, we could probably go on a day and a half about missing, but I'd say if I had to pick 3 things, and these are all kind of stuff that could be working. There's correlation versus causation and everything. Y'all know I think that, but could be the reason we've hit some, and some of these could be the reason we miss some, but there ain't no solve all. I mean, it's turkey hunting. You're going to miss them. You're going to hit them. It's going to happen, but anything you can do to increase your chances of hitting them, which aside from that one time for me and a time or 2 for you, there's not much gray area in turkey hunting, which is good because, you know, you get big game and deer and stuff. You can make a bad shot, kill an animal, and it go off and die. Very, very rarely you going to hit a turkey with, you know, however many pellets and it not kill him right there, and, you know, it run off and die, and nobody, you know, there's no harvest, there is no, you know, aside from a coyote's supper, you know, no fruits to anything, but making sure it's a good, ethical, lethal shot is very important.
That's the main thing to me too. Is not because all my misses were not because I'm launching 60-yard shots. Every shot that I, you know, that year especially that I missed was within 30 or 35 yards, and I felt fully confident in taking the shot. Wasn't anything between us, so it's not, you know, it's not like we're taking shots or we're swinging around the back of a tree. It's, you know, most of the time or all the time we're taking confident shots that we would make.
And I'm confident swinging and shooting a turkey. I've done it too many times to not be confident in it. That one wasn't even moving. You know, I didn't. That's why I'm so mad about it. The one I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I didn't really have to swing like that. You know, I could have gently eased over there and pulled the trigger, and he would have probably just kept walking at me. You know, he really could not see me. I panicked, and I don't panic much. I do get nervous, but I don't really get nervous that often in the woods. I kind of soak it in, and I'll get nervous after or something like that. But in my mind, you know, if I can see a turkey in most of the places I'm hunting and I got a shot, I'm gonna kill it. That's just the mindset I try to keep.
Yeah, when I say swing, because like I'll like you're talking about, I'll set up to where I can shoot all the way to my right. Because when I'm turning, I can pull them. I'm talking about I've seen guys that hear drumming, like that's 20 yards behind me, and they'll literally spin around on a knee, find the turkey, and then shoot. You know, if we're swinging on it, because we see the turkey and we know where we're going. That's.
I've swung a good 180 before, a time or two. I'd say I'm batting about 500 on bumping the crap out of that turkey and not finding him before he finds me, and you know, me catching him with his eyeballs this big and you know rolling him right there. And that's a gut. You got to do what your gut tells you to do on that one. You know, you gotta. It's going to usually be right.
Well, it goes back to confidence. If you when you turn around, your mind knows if you are confident in that shot before it tells you to shoot.
And it's usually a matter of chance, and that turkey doing what you think he might do and him doing what you're not expecting him to do. If he does what you're not expecting him to do, it's kind of like all stop.
Yeah, put the safety back on and go with it.
If he does what you're expecting him to do and you're ready for it, it's no different than him walking, you know, right in front of you. Because now he's in front of you and he's doing what you thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
But just making sure that cheek's down on the gun is something I started doing and have been doing kind of for a while. Unless the case is a very quick decision to make. If I'm watching a turkey come in, because that's when your habits will get the best of you, and watching that turkey come in, and Sills has seen me do this a couple times, it's almost shooting it twice, fake shooting it once. You know, if I were to pull this trigger right here, would I kill it? You know, kind of go through all the steps, is my cheek down? Yep. Is everything clear? Yep. Is my show is I keep the butt of my stock right here. You'll know if I shoot at a turkey because there's gonna be a bruise on my cheek. Cause that's about where the stock hits right there. I rested so hard on there that the bottom of my stock is really just kind of clipping my collarbone right there. Pull it tight as I can to my shoulder to try to keep that from happening, but it's gonna happen every time I ain't some 250-pound dude right here, brace for a 870s recoil, but grip it tight. Make sure I can't see none of that barrel, and I shoot a bead. I don't shoot any optics or anything. I've always shot a bead. I'm comfortable with it. That's what I always shoot. And if I were to squeeze the trigger right here before I even put it off, click it off safe, if I squeeze it right here, can I kill him? Is it close enough? Yep. And almost kind of just go through the motions up to the killing part, breathing, everything. I'd killed him right there. Click it off. I'm gonna kill him now. Just boom, boom, right there. But you'd be surprised how many times I get down there and I'm like, thank God I didn't, kind of like he moved once, or I'm not really that set. I'm not really that, gravity, balanced and centered technically. And there's a couple times I'm like, I got that out the way and I didn't really pull the trigger. So now my confidence is now out the roof because I'm like,
you figured it out.
I would have missed right there, and I can correct it. So that's something to do. And another little tidbits I've done. I got camouflage tape on my gun. There's a little piece, and this is kind of accidental, but it's rolled up on the left side of my stock. And I know in my mind, if I take my cheek and roll that piece of tape back down, it's on there. But if my cheek's not actively pushing this piece of tape down, it ain't on there. So I've kind of flirted with the idea of putting a piece of tape, putting something of some kind of nature of texture to feel on the stock of your gun with your cheek, making sure you can feel it. It's going to be down on it enough to at least, and the fix all is making sure you can't see your barrel.
Well, and then another thing I started doing after those 3 misses early season is if I had a turkey that was coming like through a bottom, I could see him for 80 yards, 100 yards, or down a log or whatever, about every 10 seconds, I would close my eyes and it's going to, I guess, sound weird, but go to muscle memory. Like I'd close my eyes and get my gun where I wanted to, then I could open it back up. And you notice then how much you do raise up. But when he's, that way he's coming at me every 5 or 10 seconds, I'll check myself just for muscle memory. And I'll realize that 9 times out of 10, watching that turkey come, I was up looking.
Yep. And I hate to keep just building on it and snowballing, but I'm trying to think of things I've done in the past to reassure myself. It's not necessarily a fixing it, but it's building your confidence when you need it most is kind of keeping your head up. I'll keep the gun down low, and it's not there is no gray area. There's no in between. There is no watching him from down here. I'm watching him with my head sticking straight up and letting him get. I might have to let him get an extra 15 yards just in case he sees me move my head. But I've got the gun exactly where I want it to be, and my cheek ain't close. My cheek ain't touching it. It ain't barely clipping it. It's not even close. So I know right before I shoot, I got to go all the way down, and there ain't no chance of raising back up. Because if I'm going down my cheek to the gun, I'm about to pull the trigger. But just some tidbits for y'all to keep in your pocket. If nothing else, you got a good laugh about how we can botch things better than anybody. It seems like pretty good at that. But we're going on a full daggum episode. We're hoping this would be a quick one, but we turned a whole episode out of it. We'll wrap it up. And I want to remind y'all again to go enter that TFT giveaway. I think, or not giveaway, raffle. Yeah, it's gonna be a cool one. I'm looking forward to it. Hope whoever wins is cool. Yeah, we get to spend a good old couple of days with them at turkey camp and tell stories and go shoot hopefully a Mississippi longbeard down around Port Gibson, and that's some good turkey country.
It's a good time of year too.
Yeah, and that's about when you want to be hunting, the first week of April. So y'all go do that at tft.com. Y'all make sure to check out all the new stuff at springlegion.com. Following us on social medias, TikToks and Instagrams and all that, and then. If you can, leave a rating for the show. That'd be good. I know some do stars, 5 stars. Be awesome. Subscribing to the YouTube channel is a big help. Much appreciated. And just telling friends, sharing it on your stories and stuff like that. Anything that helps propel us to reaching more like-minded folks. We're forever indebted to folks who've helped spread the word. So we definitely mean that. We would not be here if it weren't for folks listening to this thing. We got a couple more to record, trying to build up the episode bank so we can be working on our editing skills when it comes to content and stuff like that. And we're trying to maximize the platforms as much as we can to reach folks. So, got anything you want to add, Sills, before we wrap her on up?
That's it.
Good deal. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all listening to the Spring Legion podcast. We'll see you next week.